Hey everyone. I wanted to share more what it's like to work as an admin for like an enterprise level company, as opposed to more like a small business. And I find the environments are very different. So in an enterprise, there's a lot of process that's usually involved. For example, maybe one company will be following like a waterfall type of process where the work is very defined up front, and maybe you're just working off of a backlog of items that already have like requirements in them, and you'll probably have different sandboxes that you'll need to make the changes and move them through sort of a pipeline. So maybe you'll have a dev sandbox and then a testing sandbox, staging, and then maybe production. So that waterfall is just one type of process. A lot of companies are also trying to be more agile now and may follow some Scrum practices. So that type of process might be like sitting down with business users and trying to understand what their problem is, and then as a team sort of coming together with first a very high level solution, and then maybe as the project progresses you're sort of breaking down each of those components into something a little bit more tangible before you'll finally decide that this thing could be put into a sprint and actually completed. And then maybe within that sprint you'll move the changes through your dev, test, staging, and production environments. So in both situations though, there's, like I would just say, an awful lot of process that's involved, and sometimes you'll spend more of your day just, I would say, jumping through the hoops as opposed to actually doing the like Salesforce administration. So documentation can also be another big component of it. So say you need to make a change to a pick list, something that should really only take a few minutes to do, and in a lot of enterprise situations that are maybe regulated and have a lot of change management process in place, you may have to do things like take screen captures of the before and a screen capture of the after, and maybe write up the steps that you took to make the change, and maybe define which components were affected by the change that you made, and then sort of come up with like a regression testing plan so that you can see if this change may have impacted other parts of the system. So each company usually has their own set of change management processes. Sometimes, I'd say a lot of times, they're using something like Jira to track requests that are coming in, and then all of the changes that are associated with that Jira ticket. And then using that as a tool to bring things to production, so that at the end of the year an auditor could come in to the company and say, okay, show me all the changes, show me why you've made these changes, show me who made the changes, who approved the changes, who tested the changes, things like that. So yeah, the day in the life of an admin at a big corporate environment can be a lot different than the day in the life of an admin at a maybe a startup or a small business or an implementation partner. So yeah, I think so. That's my take on what it's like being a Salesforce admin at a enterprise, at a big company that has a lot of process in place. If process is something that you enjoy doing, then that that can be great. But if having to do a lot of documentation both before you make changes and after, if that's not what you're into, then maybe try to avoid working at a very large company where they have a lot of that process in place. Or maybe at least while you're interviewing, you can ask them what sort of change management processes they're using, and what the development cycles look like in their organization, and see if that's something that kind of aligns with what you're looking for. Yeah, so I think in addition to this video, I'll probably make another video that talks more about what it's like in smaller companies, because it definitely is a very different atmosphere, and I don't want to make this too long. Thanks everyone, have fun, and good luck with your job hunt. Bye.